It's Thursday, March 2nd, and this is now on HNN. Key deadlines are approaching at the state legislature. A look at some of the high-profile. Thank you guys for tuning into this extended stream of This Is Now. We begin with a live look outside. This is our cameras, one of our cameras on the outskirts of downtown Honolulu, looking towards Kalihi. This is right there, going up to Liliha, Kalihi, that intersection right over there. So it's a lovely day. Of course, you can see the camera kind of bouncing around. The winds are still sticking around. That's going to be the story for the rest of today, possibly into tomorrow. And then come next week, our First Alert weather team is also tracking another potential rainmaker. So that's definitely out on our radar. Aloha, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us again. I'm Dylan Ancheta alongside Davis Pittner, and we've swapped spots here for a little bit.
Yeah, this is a little weird, Dylan.
Yeah. Well, the reason being we want to bring in our Davis Pittner because he is going to be playing out a special project that he's been working on. And Davis is a fantastic editor, but you also love special projects like this. So tell us about what we're going to be seeing here today.
Yeah, Dylan, I mean, this has been a topic that I've been following for a while now. I mean, we could even say now more than a year I've been doing this, because that's how long the Ukraine-Russia invasion has gone for. And so that's exactly what I'm going to be playing out today. So last October, I put together a documentary about this conflict. There's been millions of people, millions of refugees that have scattered across the world, right? And there are some even here in Hawaii, more than 125 too. So last year in October, I was able to interview 3 of these families about what it was like to not only, come from Russia, to come from Ukraine, to escape from Russia and fly all the way over here, and, how their lives have just completely changed from this war.
Incredible. We'll get to the special project in just a few minutes, but I want to ask you a few questions about this. During your process of putting these together, speaking with these people, what's something that stood out to you? What's something that struck you as an eye-opening moment, or just stayed with you after the interviews were done?
So one of my favorite interviews, and I say favorite because it's probably the most impactful one, was this family that I actually had come in, Anna and her husband Alex. So their story, they talk about the very first moment of when they heard some explosions, when they first heard that Russia was invading, and they were in disbelief, right? It's in crazy, their story, and they obviously escaped. She escaped, Anna escaped, but Alex felt like he had a duty to his country still. So he's actually over there, and he stayed to fight. He stayed to fight over there, which it's hard to imagine from our point of view, right? And it's, Alex, luckily he's okay. He's okay now. But in this interview that I do with them, you get to understand, why he decided to stay there and how hard it's been for Anna to be separated from him this entire time. So that's probably one thing that stuck out to me during this whole entire documentary, through this whole process.
Yeah. A lot of sacrifices are being made by the families over there. Tell us a little bit about maybe some difficulties you had in the process. I mean, obviously the refugee pool here in Hawaii is not as large as other countries. You mentioned there's about 100 some odd.
Around 125, yeah.
125. Was it hard to find these families, or how?
You know what? Actually, no. And that's how this all first started too. Hawaii Stands with Ukraine is a group here that was basically formed when this happened, when all the refugees started coming over here. There was this strong support here to, help these refugees here, to help these Ukrainians. And so I actually started out just going to these rallies, covering it just for our weekend show. I was the photographer. And as time went on, I started getting closer and closer with this group, and I started hearing more of their stories. And at some point, midway through the year last year, I was, kind of thinking, we all kind of realized that this war wasn't going away anytime soon. And so I thought, maybe it's important to kind of share their stories and to kind of tell people that, yeah, there's Ukrainians here. And their stories are unbelievable.
Yeah, and especially, you know, you go out to these events and we film these, and a lot of the times there's so many rich stories, especially here in Hawaii. We get such long interviews, but for the viewers at home, you know, the newscasts, you're condensed down to 1:30, 2 minutes for one story, and you can just barely scratch the surface of someone's story. And so going out to those events and covering them is a great way to hear people's story. And then, of course, all that extra, you know, you make the connections, and having those new friendships, so to say, you can build on that and create a special project like what you're about to hear today.
Exactly. No, I'm really excited to do this. That's why I love our extended streams so much, because we have the opportunity to play these all out. And in this, as you're going to hear, I was able to go to the Capitol recently where they were holding the Hawaii Stands with Ukraine. They were holding another rally, and I actually caught up with two of the people that I interviewed in my project last year. We kind of hear an update from them. And then later on, I'm actually going to be playing that project for you guys, that full documentary, a half an hour. I hope you stay with it. It's really impactful to hear their stories and to listen to what they've gone through. But I say to start out, I'm going to play this little update on them, kind of a recap of everything that's happened more than a year later since the war first started. When Anna Sokovtseva first heard rockets and low-flying planes in her hometown of Kyiv, only one thought came across her mind.
Now I die. It was my mind. Now I die. Now I die. That's all. It is finished. It was really scary.
That was the start to what would soon be a year-long war. She, along with millions, escaped the country and fled from city to city, eventually finding her way to Hawaii.
We decided to come here with my friend and stay here in safe place. And after awful thing, you know, a lot of awful thing, we need gather our mind.
She arrives on a touristic visa, which allows you to stay in the U.S. for up to 6 months. So in 4, she decided to return to Ukraine, back into the country she tried to escape. What was once her homestead did not look the same as what it once was.
When I come back to Ukraine in Kyiv, I feel very strange feeling inside, because you know, when you see your home and you see how different everything, you know, sometimes we get on our phone that missiles come. I remember 10 October. Russia again sent a missile in Kyiv, and it was awful again awful night.
That same feeling she felt when the war began returned in that moment.
Again, scare inside, you know, you feel like this feeling again, because after some time you forgot about this feeling. People can't eat normally, you know, can't live life normally, don't have any enjoy, you know. It's very hard, emotional, and people live in this situation 1 year already.
Although thousands of miles away, Ukraine is always on her mind.
I really miss for my home. My mom still there, and I speak with her 2 times a day, per day. Yes, and every time check news. It's very difficult. A lot of people die every day and need more support. I know that a lot of countries support Ukraine, but need continuous support.
After a month in Ukraine, she was able to return to Hawaii through the United for Ukraine program. She says that she is now eligible to purchase medicine and insurance. She even has a Hawaii driver's license.
I get some benefits, SNAP and financial assistance. Also, I go to American Job Center. If everything will be good, I go to study in medical college, Hawaii Medical College. I get a social security number. I got everything, but I need to find a good job for now, and it's my goal for now.
Even after leaving her job, friends, and family behind, she has shown that you can still make the most out of what you have.
Now I need to start again my life, but I'm ready. I have many goals. You know, Even if you lost every material thing, it doesn't matter because you can start from nothing, but you're still alive. It's important.
We even couldn't imagine how terrible they could be.
Anna Bereshnikova was with her husband in their home city of Odessa when the Russian invasion began. Like many Ukrainians at the time, they were in disbelief of what was happening and hunkered down in their home. As the situation worsened, however, Anna's husband Alexander told her that it wasn't safe anymore and that she had to seek refuge with her sister in Hawaii. For Alexander, though, his duty to his country was too important, and like many men in Ukraine, he volunteered to fight.
They're protecting our country, they're defending our cities, our people. They're trying to do their best to get the victory and to end this war.
Anna was able to make it to Hawaii safely. However, the separation from her husband and constant worrying for his safety has weighed on her. Alexander was able to make a trip to see her again last year. However, it was just for a month.
It's really tough. It's really difficult, and like all men who's there, they're struggling, of course, because there are women here. I mean, somewhere in Europe, but out of Ukraine, and we are struggling as well. Being apart with our families, and it's really very hard. But at the same time, again, however, we are fighting. So we are trying to do something. We're trying to do what we can being here, and Alex, as other men, being there, also doing everything, all the best what they can do to support their country and to help to make this victory closer.
Anna says that the 1 year mark of the war is saddening, knowing that it has drawn on for so long. She says, though, that it does bring out another emotion too, pride.
And it also brings me the realization of power of Ukrainian people, their free will to fight for their freedom, to fight for their cities, for their souls, for their lives. So they don't give up. Even after 1 year, we're still fighting, and we're still showing to all over the world that what you have inside that is much more important than what you have outside.
She says that adapting to Hawaii's culture hasn't been easy, but she has been able to do it with the help of the Ukrainian community here.
We have absolutely amazing Ukrainian community here. They're very supportive. They are trying to help you in any way they can. And it's really amazing when you have these people by your side.
Not knowing how much longer the war will go on, she says that support is something the people of Ukraine still need.
We still need that help, and we are very, very grateful. We are limitless grateful, for all the people who support Ukraine now, and it's really something what is very valuable, very important, and that helps us to survive, mentally first of all and emotionally. And we still need this support. So we need to have this victory together, because the victory of Ukraine is the victory of the whole world, for freedom, for peace, for safety for our kids and our families and our countries.
Joining me now to talk more about the ongoing situation in Ukraine is Laura Palafox, who's with Hawaii Stands with Ukraine. So Laura, let's start at the beginning, kind of talk about how this group was formed.
So the day after the war started, the group was formed by a few passionate individuals in our community who wanted to gather not just Ukrainians together, but anybody who was interested in supporting Ukraine. As soon as I heard about the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, of course I knew about the fighting that had gone on in the Donbass area for 8 years. I have family that live over that side, and it was horrific. My brother was actually in Maidan Square when they had the uprising in 2014. And the uprising was basically to say no more Russian influence. We just want to be independent and free, have free trade with Europe. But fast forward to the full-scale invasion in 2022, that was something where I just raised my hand and said, I'll do whatever it takes, whatever's needed. I want to, help in whatever capacity that I can. And so with the group, I've sort of started more behind the scenes, doing PR, doing marketing, organizing the group, and then also participating in events and speaking out about what was happening in Ukraine, communicating with not only Ukrainian members here, but also Ukrainians in Ukraine, who are also members of our group.
So I know when it first started, a lot of people were in disbelief. What was your reaction when you first heard that Russia was invading Ukraine?
Absolutely stunned. It is unbelievable. It was, my father actually survived Holodomor, which was the genocide of Ukrainian people through starvation, where every scrap of food had been taken from their homes, and Russian soldiers would shoot them if they tried to scavenge even, a few stalks of grain. So over 10 million people died in that. I thought that was the horrors of the past. That was horrors that this world had grown beyond, that this sort of evil could not occur in my lifetime, and not in this modern world that I've grown to believe. This, this modern world of, people talk about love and light and yoga and, it just seemed unbelievable that this should actually be occurring. This full-scale invasion and massacre and just medieval destruction and disregard for human life is just absolutely astounding, shocking.
I heard the stories of 3 refugees that are here in Hawaii. You've heard all of them. What have been some of the stories that you've heard, some of these people that, are part of the group and have been so affected by the war?
All these refugees come from different backgrounds, and they have one thing in common. They feel they've lost everything, and they have to start again. But it's not just starting again. If it was an earthquake, or if it was, a flood or something like, and then you have to start again because you lose your possessions. It's not like that. It's way beyond that, because they suffer the horrors, the nightmares of what happened, what they saw, what they're continuing to see happen to friends and to relatives. I know one woman who, as I was communicating with her, told me, they were bombing the houses around her. And the following day, she went out onto the street and saved a handicapped child whose mother had been blown up. In many cases, in small towns, bodies have just been left on the streets because the Russian soldiers would not allow them to bury them. There's one woman here who came from such a town and told me, Lara, we saw wild animals tearing apart the bodies of friends and family, and we were not allowed to even bury them. I mean, it's horrific. So the refugees live with these stories. And these are not just stories, these are things that are ongoing. Ongoing. Horrors.
What's your reaction to hearing that, it's been a year now that this has been going on?
We live day to day, and to think there are 365 such days of horror. Not just one day. Can you imagine all of the horror that's been happening in one day? And then it's 365 days, Call it a year. But it's unbelievable that it's been going on so long. And by that, I mean it's unbelievable that the world can sit on the couch and watch on their TVs this horror unfolding as if it were some movie. But it's not a movie. And the world needs to stand up and take action to say, no, not in my world. This will not be the reality of my world, our world, my children's world.
Kind of talk about that, all the support that has been seen here in Hawaii and also in other places around the world.
Well, of course, there's been so much support here in Hawaii. And I mean, Hawaii, the people of Hawaii have been fantastic. People of all different walks of life have joined our group and support us and have contributed to fundraisers, churches, schools, so many people. And we're very grateful for that. I'm very grateful. And those, Ukrainians who've come here and made Hawaii their temporary home are very grateful too. And they recognize that, the support that they've had, not only from Hawaii, but obviously the US government, that is helping them with, with things like food vouchers and stipends, just so that they can survive here. Because although, many have work permits, it's very difficult to get a job because the English level is maybe not high enough for certain jobs. But many are doing whatever they can, taking on whatever jobs they can. So, we continue to help. Hawaii Stands with Ukraine is really a hub of service. So we reach out to those members in the community that we think, need help, and they reach out to us. Hawaii Stands with Ukraine members are extremely active, on a daily basis, doing their own little fundraisers on the side. So we have people, who are like baking cookies or making chocolates and then selling them, and the donations are going directly to people from their hometowns that are stuck there, that need help, or to orphans. There is satisfaction, especially when we give to these people and they show us photos of the groceries that they've bought, and the kids are happy because now they have some shoes, winter shoes to wear. I mean, that kind of thing is very rewarding.
My last question for you, what is your message to people watching this? This could be, whether you need more, there needs to be more support, or for more people to come out to rallies. What's your message to people?
Well, my message is, and this is paraphrasing, evil thrives when good people do nothing. And the emphasis is on do, because we can think things, we can say, oh, I'm so sorry, it's so sad what's happening. And these are words, but words don't feed people. We need action. Words don't stop children being killed or stolen or people being tortured. We need to do. And doing means come out and support the rallies. It means, give what you can to help these people survive, because it is a day-to-day situation for many people. They need to survive. And reach out to Congress, your voice matters. Everybody's voice matters, but it's the action of doing, speaking to Congress members, form groups, take some time and think about what it is that you could do, because everybody can do something. Supporting this, putting your voice to this, is going to help stop it. It will. Everything is, how many drops are there in the ocean, right? Every drop creates that ocean. Every voice, every action will end this war, will restore Ukraine. And that is the final goal, to restore Ukraine as a sovereign country, to also repair what has been done to Ukraine, if that's even possible. But at least that's the goal.
Thank you, Laura, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Now, it's clear to see that even though it's been a year since the war first started, the impacts of it are still lasting today for all the refugees. Now, I want to play that full documentary that I mentioned earlier in this. It goes over all of their life stories and an additional family that was also impacted by the war.
The invasion began on February 24, 2022. It is a day Ukrainians will never forget. Russian missiles rained down on our cities and our towns, on schools, malls, and hospitals. In the weeks and months since the war began, thousands of Ukrainians have died. Families have been torn apart, and millions have fled, leaving behind our homes and belongings. Leaving behind our lives as we wait for the war to end. Ukrainian refugees have even found our way to Hawaii. But life here is not like home. As long as the war goes on, Ukraine will remain on our minds and hearts. We long to go back home.
Доброго дня, мене звуть Олександр, я з України, місто Одеса. Сьогодні я в такому прекрасному місті, як Гонолулу.
Hi, I'm gonna translate my husband.
Конечно, был страх. Конечно, мы понимали соотношение.
Yes, we did have fear because they invade part of Ukraine in 2014, you know, Crimea, part of Donetsk and Lugansk regions. So it was a fear that they can also invade our cities, you know, and our country. Because my sister, she lives here and she called me. It was 21st of February and she told me, like, please, I want you to get your emergency kit with all the documents, like jewelry, money, like everything you have, all the most precious, and be ready because we know that it's gonna happen. I'm like, no way, never. Russian people is our brothers, you know, we are so close, we are friends. They will never do that against us. It's impossible. And 5 hours after, they start bombing our cities, all the cities at the same time.
Russian President Vladimir Putin announced a military operation, he says, to protect
Ukraine's
Donbas.
president says 137 people have been killed.
President Biden is consulting with his national security team.
As Russia sent in troops from 3 sides and launched more than 100 airstrikes.
Across Ukraine, the impacts of war felt deeply.
Residents are preparing for battle. The Russian goal here, U.S. officials say, is to take control of at least 2/3 of the country.
Amid mounting casualties, gunfire, and
Stunned
explosions.
Ukrainian families taking cover in subways turned bomb shelters.
It was really very, very scary to, you know, to even to realize that it's happening because we were not ready to believe in it. 3 hours I was sleeping and 3 hours my husband was sleeping because somebody should be, you know, ready if there is missiles. a bombing, we should go to the shelter. And while we were in Ukraine, like about 3-4 times a day, we had to go to run to the shelter because there was a lot of sirens and missiles from the seaside.
Oh.
We even couldn't imagine how terrible they could be. It was a really very beautiful country. We love our Ukraine. It's a wonderful nature. We have a lot of forests, rivers, sea, lakes, beautiful mountains. We had a wonderful culture.
Украинские люди одни из тех, кто...
My husband, he said about the people, that Ukrainian people, that's the most precious, thing that we have in Ukraine. They are very generous, they are very strong, they are very smart, they are very creative. And people today, Ukrainian people, show to all over the world that they are very brave and courageous. And what they're doing now, they're protecting our country, they're defending our cities, our people. They're trying to do their best to get the victory and to end this war. And he like, Anna, it's began. So please stand up. We have to, to gather everything, to collect all the stuff that we need, some food and water. And my friends from different cities of Ukraine start posting the same messages, like we had a lot of missiles, we had a lot of explosions, and it was really very, very scary to even to realize that it's happening, because we were not ready to believe in it. We had a wonderful apartment, we have cars, like we have everything we need. We absolutely, provided with everything we need in our flat, in our country, but now feels like we can lose everything in a blink of an eye. My husband told me, like, you need to leave. I don't want you to stay here anymore because I can't guarantee you safety. So I want you to go to your sister. So please just pack your suitcases. And 8 o'clock in the morning, we already were in a car driving to the border. And while we were driving, we saw the Russian ships on we have like a bridge from Odessa to go to border to Moldova. We were driving and seeing that ships, 3 ships on a horizon and like very close to the, to the shore. And I was like, oh my God, if they just make only 1 missile now, we can be dead, And it was really very, very scary to have this experience. And while he was coming back home, I was tracking him that he is okay or not. I was crying a lot. I was crying almost the whole way to the border because I couldn't even imagine how can I leave him here and go somewhere. I didn't want to go so far away in Honolulu. I've been here in August visiting my sister. We were expecting it's gonna be like for a few weeks or months or maximum 2 months and it's gonna end. But I was even not imagining that I could stuck here for almost 6 months. Knowing that your family, part of your family there, it's really just so painful and killing you.
My sister called my mother and tell that Russia attacked Ukraine. We not believe in this information. It was like something not real, and we on TV and hear news, and it was scary.
Reports say Russian forces are stalled just outside the capital of Kyiv. An estimated 1 million people have fled the country.
Military plan, yes, which go very low. This plan was very close. I think it is rocket come, and now I die. It was my mind. Now I die. die, now I die. That's all. It is finished. It was really scary. My name is Anna. I'm from Ukraine. Life in Ukraine was amazing. Very green, clean, with many activities for art. Many good things for usual people, you know. We can celebrate everything. We enjoy time how we want, you know. It's easy for be happy in Ukraine before war. In our apartment, all the time we hear like when rockets come, and it was every time, you know. And when you hear every time, you don't know what happened now, what happened after 5 minutes, you don't know, and you always wait something. You not feel self in safe place, even in home. All gas stations have big line, you know, every shop have big line, pharmacy big line, cash machine have big line everywhere. People was a little bit shocked, and you know, not so big panic, but it was because when I go to supermarket and buy food for cats, people take everything, you know, and I was very scared. I tell my mom that this is our chance. We should save our life and we should be brave, and I tell my mom we should go to train station and try to go out from Ukraine. I say my mom that we not take any luggage, we come back soon. Now it's dangerous period and we should go out. We take only cats and food for cats and some medicines and document and money, of course. And we go to train station. We take train to City Lviv and go City Lviv, stay there one night. We continue our way to Poland. We wait maybe 5-6 hours train. We in a line stand, only stand, and our line no moved, you know, because a lot of people who care about transportation, evacuation people, they take only kids.
As some attempt to evacuate the country, the U.S. is preparing for a potential refugee crisis.
Ukrainians streamed out of cities desperate to escape.
You think, okay, I should be calm, no rush, but of course you don't know what to do in this situation. I go to US with my friend. We very like Hawaii, and we decided to come here with my friend and stay here in safe place. And after awful thing, you know, a lot of awful thing, we need gather our mind. Every time I gather myself and tell self that I should be strong and need to support Ukrainians. If I stay here, I need to do something good for people to give information and other people that they can understand situation, real situation. feel destroyed inside. When something happens with your country, you feel like it's your relatives, you know, it's like your people, and you feel pain. And I think every Ukrainians feel pain. You think, why people so angry, you know, for Ukrainian? We don't know why they kill, and it's not only kill, you know, it's like destroyed. It's very hard continue live normal life because, you know, and no hate everybody because you lost, and you don't know when it finished.
Can you see that, Lewis? Yeah, we can see that. Well, that traffic is all heading in one direction, and it's absolutely packed, that main road is, and that direction is west. And so you can see the residents of Kiev seem to be getting in their cars, listening to those explosions, accompanied by these air raid sirens.
We woken up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It was starting bombing Kiev.
The fighting intensified. U.S. officials acknowledging Russian troops appear to be gaining ground in southern Ukraine, but continue to face stiff resistance to the north, including the capital city of Kiev.
This fireball is a Russian fighter jet Ukrainian air defenses shot down overnight, as the capital Kiev is now in Russia's crosshairs.
We saw smoke from our window. We are living in 16th floor. And we saw a lot of explosion and a lot of smoke. So we put some clothes, some pampers, diapers, some food to the car, and during maybe 30-40 minutes left house and went away. It was a big traffic jam. Big traffic jam out of Kiev, and one main road to west aboard was dangerous. It's traffic jam. We have been living and sleeping in the car. It was big minus outside.
Yeah.
And no food on the road.
It was winter, and February is the most coldest month from winter in Ukraine.
Yes, it's no food, no gas, no food, no water. So it was not
yeah,
good.
For adults it's very difficult, but having two kids, two toddlers, 2 and 4 years old, it's a quest. No, it's very difficult.
We decided to stay close to board and find a place with 18 people, including us, inside, for not big room. People could not leave because they don't have money to leave Ukraine.
Yeah, we could not believe it. We thought, oh, what's happened? We can believe it. It's happened in real time.
Hello, my name is Roman Chetverikov. I'm from Ukraine, city Kiev.
My name is Olga. It's very nice, beautiful city, a European style with a beautiful architecture. It's very green in summertime and springtime with a lot of blossom, sunny. Also it's beautiful in winter time because of snow, it's white and it looks very beautiful. Nice country, nice city.
I had a business, big business. I'm doing toy business. I had 8 stores. I'm selling toys. So it's big shops. It's from 7,000 square feet to 20,000 square feet. Around 820 people working for me. I cover 3,500 supermarkets in Ukraine by toys. It was good business for me, but it's have been destroyed in one day.
What happened with your businesses?
What happens? So second day after starting war, the rocket came to my warehouse, where I keep my goods. It's warehouse for everybody. Some goods, clothes, shoes, medicine, alcohol, everything. So it started bombing. It's near was supermarket. Supermarket was destroyed by Russian tanks and rockets, and big warehouse was destroyed by rockets. I have empty shelves, and I don't have any goods to put on the shelves. After a couple weeks, close to my office came to rocket and destroyed. It was maybe quarter mile from my office. And so nobody wants, sitting in Kyiv, nobody wants to work there. It's too dangerous, too dangerous. Yes, somebody's living in Kyiv right now. Somebody's have a job in Kyiv, but it's not too many, not too many. Who have some money, who can leave Kyiv and live maybe in West Ukraine, or can possibility to live another country, everybody moved. I put all my money into goods after COVID time, because COVID time is finished. So I put all my money into goods and bought goods for Christmas time, for my chain, for supermarkets. And now I'm completely broke, completely broke.
We have been living in Hawaii in 2015, and we married here in Hawaii. So we fell in love with this place for the first glance. We love the nature, love the people, so we decided to go to Hawaii. I was crying almost every day, watching all those videos, all those news from Ukraine. And it was 4 months, but the last months I tried to avoid, because I have to live for my kids now and build the new life, because life is going on, and I had depression, so I could not do anything because of news about Ukraine.
You can lose 1 minute everything. So you could not plan it. It's not your mistake or something else. And I understand I'm not alone. So I understand a lot of businesses in Ukraine have been destroyed. And I understand another things. A lot of lives can be destroyed, and a lot of people have been killed. So we are alive. We have kids, we're in safe place, safe place, so we are lucky about that. But sometimes we are crying and thinking about Ukraine always. So according to me, my health mind is always busy in Ukraine. So one health mind here with my family in Hawaii, here. But another peace of mind, always thinking about Ukraine.
My husband came here for a month as a volunteer to get humanitarian aid. So as he is a volunteer in territorial forces, defense forces in Ukraine, they need a lot of equipment and ammunition that we don't have in Ukraine. We ran out of everything. Even something that we could buy was already sold out, and we don't have a possibility to buy it.
До начала войны я занимался бизнесом порядка 20 лет, но...
My husband is saying that no, he wasn't in the military, never ever. He's a businessman for more than 20 years. But when war started, of course, a lot of Ukrainian men, we have a huge lines to get to the territorial defense forces, to go there and to fight for Ukraine, to defend our country. And because like, if not our men, who can do that? For men in Ukraine, it's an honor and it's like the duty number one to defend your country, to defend your property, to defend your families, your cities. But for Russian, it's different. They have only one reason: to come to our cities, to rape our women, our kids, our men, even in front of their kids or in front of their parents, to kill our people. Like, that is unbelievable. Like, even animal never do these things. A lot of Ukrainian lives in Russia, a lot of Russians lives in Ukraine, and we all really friends and we were so close. But now doing that against us, it was something that we couldn't believe until we hear the situation from the first, like from the people who've been involved in that.
Я уже говорил, сначала страх, потом, наверное, все.
About what he experienced. Firstly, it was fear. It was really scary, like to see the missiles from the seaside, flying to your house, to your city. Like you never know where can it, get.
Ракеты низко летят, чтобы не сбило ПВО.
And also missiles are flying very low. When we signed the agreement about the wheat transportation from Ukraine, and it was in a contract it was said that there is no bombing of Ukrainian seaports, so ships can just go out and deliver the wheat to the countries that need it. And the very next day, even not 24 hours after they signed the document, the very next day my husband, he went near the port. He was walking near the port, and many missiles were bombing the seaport in Odessa.
К сожалению, в таких городах, как Николаев, Харьков.
Very bad situation is in cities like Mykolaiv and Kharkiv, because a lot of missiles, like, I don't know, 50 missiles a day, about, like a lot, and they are bombing civilians. They are bombing civilian, unfortunately, houses, and it's not like the war, it's a genocide, because they kill more civilians than military people, and that's absolutely unbelievable.
Когда тебя лишают того, на чем ты зарабатывал.
When you lost everything you had, your houses, your business, like something that could help you to provide food for your family, and the last what you have is your life, and the life is the most important and precious thing that you have, right? Because if you're dead, there is nothing have any sense. So when you lost all that, that's only the one way. It's to take the weapon and go and defend your life and life of the beloved people, beloved ones. People become more aggressive, and because they want to save and protect what they have.
А наши солдаты, наши защитники вооруженные.
We have like two options: to be killed or to kill. And of course, it's better to to survive.
It's a great support for Ukraine. Many people involved into the events, and they spread the word about situation in Ukraine, that war is still in Ukraine and nothing stopped.
I could say that we need support, really. And as I mentioned before, it could be not only something, materialistic, not only the money or, I don't know, some weapon, but also that we need a lot. But it could be support, even sharing.
I think everybody do what they can, but if it be more, it be better, yes. we need help more every day.
Спасибо Гавайям, Америке.
Thank you very much to the United States and to Hawaii that they are very sincerely and open in their intentions and what they are doing for the support and help and assistance that we are receiving from you guys and from all over the world. That's really very, very precious now and very important because, you know, staying just against one by one against the enemy that is like 10 times more than you, but like 50 times more than you by the territory, people and everything. It's just very important knowing that there is somebody behind who you can be sure in, you know, support and help.
Я не знаю, что будет завтра со мной, но я счастлив, но сегодня я счастлив.
He doesn't know what's going to happen to him tomorrow, but today he is happy that he is here and can be with me.